welcome to week 2 of the Fraidy Cat Readathon. And before we do anything else, I have book mail. Alright, so the first book I got this week is Wicked Fox by Kat Cho. This was actually sent to me as part of a giveaway for Beauty and the Books' 1,000 subscriber milestone. So congratulations, Janelle. I'm super proud of you. And yes, she got to pick a book off of my Amazon wish list and she went with Wicked Fox. So I'm super excited about that. I put this on my wish list because I am just so intrigued by the whole like nine-tailed fox mythology, and right around the time that I heard about this book for the first time was actually when I was on like I think season 4 of Teen Wolf, which centers a lot around that mythology. So when I got to that part in the show, I was like, no way, I just saw a book with like that same idea. So yeah, I'm very excited about that one. And then next up we have The School for Good and Evil by Saman Chainani. So this is the group book that we picked for the Fraidy Cat Readathon this month, which I'm hosting along with Nikki from Nikki Lo Reads and Shelby from Grace with Books. And obviously, like, it's week 2 and I haven't even gotten the group book yet. Not even have I not started it, I just didn't even have it. I was holding out to get it from the library and then that didn't really end up going according to plan, so I just bought it. It's only like $5 on Amazon right now, so if you still want to participate, go for it. And can I just say, hold on, the map for this book is stunning. Look at that. So this is, it looks like The School for Evil. I can't read it. Yes, because this one's more ominous looking. But yeah, so this is The School for Evil and this is The School for Good, and then they're connected by this bridge. I'm so excited about this book. I've been saying that I want to read a middle grade for a while now, and this just seems like the absolute perfect one. Literally, it's blurbed by Rick Riordan on the cover. I just realized that. Yeah, I'm very happy with this pick. So those are the 2 books that I got in the mail and I'm super excited about. Okay, so now I want to talk about the books that I'm going to be reading this week. First of all, I'm almost done with the Graveyard Pathway, which if you're participating in the readathon, then you will have seen that our readathon is like a choose your own adventure style thing. So it has a map and 3 different pathways you can choose. So I'm gonna try to do all 3 of them, but I'm starting with the Graveyard Path. And I've already read An Enchantment of Ravens by Margaret Rogerson. Loved it. It was the perfect like fall fantasy, like gorgeous setting. So yeah, I did that for the Poe prompt. And then currently I am reading this graphic novel called Carrying the Night of the Forest by Andy Watson. Loving it. It is so stunning. I just want to show you, like, look at these illustrations. I know I show these literally every time I talk about this book, but they're just so pretty, and the color scheme and the characters and everything is, I just love it. It's so, I don't know, uplifting. It's very simple, like it's not a super complicated plot, but there's just all these different magical creatures and a really, really sweet main character. So I'm loving this. I read this for our last reading sprints, which we did on Nikki's channel. I got, I don't know, like 100 pages in or so. But yeah, so I'm really enjoying this. Also, there's these characters in here. Where are they? That remind me so much of the Soot sprites from Studio Ghibli. Except they're like a little bit creepier. So here they are. They're literally just like eyeballs with like arms or tentacles or something. I don't know. But there's one that like follows around our main character and kind of just sits on his shoulder throughout the journey. And it just has such cute personality and I love them so much. On top of that, I am also reading the audiobook for 3 Dark Crowns by Kendara Blake. Oh my goodness. Y'all, listen. Okay, when I say I know I already said that An Enchantment of Ravens was the perfect fall fantasy, but this one is somehow even more perfect. It's so good. It's like not as blatantly autumnal as An Enchantment of Ravens. Like that one is very on the nose. But this one is more just like dark and gothic and atmospheric and like decadent and mysterious. The opening chapter in particular is like one of the coolest opening chapters I've read ever. So if you haven't read this before, the whole idea is like it's basically set in this matriarchal society on an island. So the crown passes down through the women in the family, and every generation, it's like a magical society. So every generation, the current queen gives birth to a set of triplets, and they all have an equal right to the throne. And so basically when they turn 16, I think it's 16, they all have to like fight for the crown. And then each of the three of them has a special gift representing each of the three different magical groups on the island. So one of them is a poisoner, and so those people with that gift can like ingest all these poisons and not die. One of them is a naturalist, so those people can like not talk to animals, but kind of like communicate with animals and also kind of like cause things to grow in nature and like do all this cool stuff with flowers and plants. And then the last group is the elementals, and people with that gift can control like fire and the weather and stuff like that. So each of these three girls like has one of these gifts, and throughout the story we're switching POVs constantly, so we're getting to meet all of them. That's what I love so much. I love an ensemble cast. That is just one of my absolute favorite things in TV shows, books, like anything, because I feel like it allows you to just do so much with a story. Like it never gets boring and you never run out of storylines because you always have somebody else that you can shift to. Also, this is like a semi-omniscient third-person narrator, which I'm actually really enjoying. So it kind of allows you to hear the thoughts of different characters, even like characters who aren't the main characters, which I think adds a lot to the story, and it's done in just like a really subtle but a really good way. Yeah, so I'm like 60% of the way through that book. I have been absolutely gushing about this book to my friend Alexis from @ArdentlyReads. I will link her below, because she just read this book and she's actually planning on finishing the series in November. So I was like, hit me up on that because I want to read them with you. I am just having such a fun time talking to her about this, and I think it's like one of the things that I've loved about joining Bookstagram is like having people to talk to about the books that I'm reading. And so like we were just kind of like ranting about this one character, and I'm just having such a fun time. So I would like to go ahead and finish that one as soon as possible while I'm like, I've really got the momentum and like I'm really into it. So yeah, and then hopefully after that I will start The School for Good and Evil. I'm freaking out. I literally just saw the Cyrano movie trailer. So if you don't know, Cyrano de Bergerac is literally one of my all-time favorite classics. It is so good. It is so underrated. I love it to pieces. I have this beautiful vintage copy of it. Like, I am just obsessed with this story. And they're making it into a movie. Not only are they making it into a movie, but it is going to be directed by the Joe Wright. As in Pride and Prejudice 2005 with Keira Knightley, Joe Wright. And it is going to be starring Peter Dinklage and Haley Bennett. My heart is full. I am so excited about this. It comes out in December, and I am just basically like, expect for me to not shut up about this until it comes out, and maybe even after that. So Cyrano de Bergerac, or apparently it's Cyrano, I've never actually heard it said out loud. So Cyrano de Bergerac is a story about this guy who in the original has like a ginormous nose. And so he's like a super skilled swordsman and a poet. He's like a really all around cool guy, but he has this giant nose and he's super self-conscious about it. And so he stupidly decides that the woman he loves is just like too good for him. Like he's not good enough for her because she's beautiful and he's ugly and da 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 da. It is so funny and so romantic and sweet and just like all about the power of love and friendship and all this stuff. I love it. And in this version of it, they've cast Peter Dinklage. So rather than Cyrano being someone with a big nose, he's a little person in this movie, which I think was genius. Like I love this change. I think it makes it, first of all, a little bit more believable, because like the idea that someone's nose would stand in between them and true love is like, it's supposed to be ridiculous. Like it's a comedy, it's not supposed to be taken like super literally. And this way I feel like this is going to allow them to have a story that's a little bit more serious and a little bit more like a serious romantic drama. I've already convinced like 2 of my friends to read this book, and it's only like week 1 on this, so yeah, I might be rereading it with them now, but maybe not until after the readathon. I don't know, we'll see. Okay, so I know it's late, obviously, but I was just thinking I really just want to start The School for Good and Evil, because even though I'm not done listening to Three Dark Crowns yet, I just feel like if I don't go ahead and at least get started, I'm just really starting to get nervous that I won't finish it in time, because I want to finish this one ideally before the Sweater Weather readathon, because I want to be able to read The Nature of Witches for that one. And I try to only have like 1 physical book that I'm reading at a time. Sometimes it ends up being 2, but like generally I try to stick to 1, because I can't usually handle more than 1 at a time and actually stay focused. If it's like an audiobook and a physical book, or like an audiobook and an ebook, or an ebook and a physical book, like so any of those combinations is fine. I guess just because it feels like I'm kind of doing different tasks even though it's all still reading. But trying to flip back and forth between 2 actual physical books is just a little bit too much, and I really want to read The Nature of Witches for that readathon, so I think I'm just gonna go for it. And you know, I'm almost done. I'm at like the 80% mark for Three Dark Crowns, like an hour and a half left or something like that. So I thought I would give you a little reading update. I got to 91% on Three Dark Crowns last night, and I couldn't finish it. I had to go to sleep, but the pieces are all falling into place. I feel like Kronk. It's all coming together. But seriously, no, these last few chapters of Three Dark Crowns is giving me strong Avengers vibes. And what I mean by that is like, each of the different characters so far has kind of had their own separate story. All 3 sisters have had kind of their own cast of side characters and interesting subplots and romances and all this stuff. But then these last few chapters, we're at Beltane, we're getting ready for the quickening. Literally, the quickening is about to happen, like right now. And they're all coming together and they're all getting to interact with each other. It's like the crescendo at the end of the book where just like everything is coming together, and I can just tell that something is about to go down, and I'm so excited. So I do strongly plan on finishing Three Dark Crowns this weekend, if not today. But definitely this weekend either way, because I cannot wait to see the end. Honestly, it's gonna be really hard to wait till November to finish this series, but I really want to read them with Alexis, and I have like plenty of other books that I really want to read for October that are already on my TBR, so I'm gonna try to stick to that. Speaking of which, I started The School for Good and Evil a couple of nights ago, as you saw, and it was so cute. Like, it's really funny. Like, it's kind of giving me a cross, like, vibes-wise. It's a cross between Harry Potter and Percy Jackson, because Harry Potter is like, we have kind of this, obviously, the magic school, and everyone, like, this is kind of random, but one of the things that really reminded me of Harry Potter was all of the funny names for the professors. Like, I feel like that's something that Harry Potter is kind of like known for, is like everything has kind of a funny name, like Muggles or Filch or whatever, you know. And so like there's a Professor Anemone and like different names like that were just like very reminiscent of Harry Potter. And then the Percy Jackson thing, just because it's so funny and like the kind of sarcastic tone of humor is really reminding me of Rick Riordan, or is it Rick Riordan? I've always said it Rick Riordan, but anyway, that guy. It is really reminding me of like his sense of humor and the way he tells a story. There's just been some really like humorous, like obviously it's kids humor, but I have a very childlike sense of humor apparently. I find it hilarious. So yeah, I think I'm like 70 something pages into that right now, so still very much in the beginning, but I'm really liking it. Sophie's character obviously is super annoying, but I feel like she's one of those characters that's like supposed to be annoying, and then hopefully we'll get a good character arc. I'm really holding out hope for her that she gets her character arc, because man, she's annoying. But then Agatha, I love. Like, I am so obsessed with Agatha, and the fact that they cast Sophia Wiley to play her in the upcoming movie is just like perfect for me, because I love her in High School Musical, the musical, the series. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up the vlog. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know, as always, if there's any way I can be encouraging you or praying for you this week. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Bye!